Okay. All right. I'm back. All should be good now. Um, so I just want to, we're getting ready to go to Columbia, a bunch of us. We're waiting for our vans and then we're going to pack and go. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope all is well. Hope all is well. I'm just going to give a brief update. I'm going to try to catch everybody up, Cliff Notes version on what's going on with redistricting. Um, and a bunch of us are, again, we're getting ready to load up for Mullins and head on up to Columbia to participate in the protest rally today. Because it's about using our voices, right? We need to have our voices heard, and that's at all levels. That's what democracy looks like. This is how this wonderful how this wonderful country was founded with all our flaws. This is our country, and we have rights. So I'm gonna just, for the purpose of replay, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about redistricting. If you have any questions, just pop them in the chat because that'll help me to kind of make sure that I stay, that you guys are understanding, what's going on. So essentially, this is relative to one position in government. Well, it impacts a lot of things, but it's a very, very important position in government, and it's Congress, U.S. Congress. So in the U.S. Congress, the state of South Carolina sends 7 congressmen. And the state of South Carolina, which is about 40% Democrat, 40% Democrats, let's say some number of independents and the majority Republican that vote. Okay, that ain't exactly how we are, but those are the ones that vote. We end up with 1 Democrat and 6 Republicans, right? And so the one, good morning, Katina. I hope everything's better now. I took the Wi-Fi off, but we end up with 6 Democrats. I'm sorry, 6 Republicans and 1 Democrat, right? And that 1 Democrat is Jim Clyburn. And so what's happened is that Jim Clyburn lives in his district, and in his district, um, it is a majority Democratic district, right? Because you don't know how people vote, but Democrats versus Republicans. So it's a majority Democratic district. So that's how we end up with 1. Now, in 2000, after this last census, we sued the state and said that we should have, if you have, 40% Democrats, and 28% African American, that we should have 2 seats where Democrats could have a voice, right? Instead of 1. But anyway, so it went to court, and court said, nope, that map is not racially gerrymandered. You take your 1 seat, your Jim Clyburn seat, and you guys rock with it. Okay, so that was all good. We come back, we have our 1 seat. We believe we should have 2, but we have 1. So then comes oh shoot, you guys still with me? Okay, y'all still with me. Let me see if somebody has Reverend Ford's number. Ezra, Ezra, can you call Reverend Ford, please? He just called. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm back. So, All right, y'all. Sorry. This is what happens. We're packing up, right? This is what democracy looks like. Here comes our van. Yes, yes, yes. All righty. So, one of our vans. Okay. So, where was I at, y'all? Okay, here I was at. We had 7 congressmen, 1 Democrat, and that one is Jim Clyburn. So, President Trump, and every vote matters, as you can see, right? When it comes to everything in the House, they're counting votes and they're counting votes. So, what President Trump is trying to do is he knows that the people are not happy with what's going on in America. He knows that the people are not happy with the price of gas, with the price of goods, with incomes, with access to housing, right? So, they were concerned that one, they may lose in in November. So how do you counter that? Well, they're cheating. So President Trump called down to South Carolina and said, I need y'all to send me 7. Oh, the words they were using was crazy, but 7 Republicans, right? So South Carolina didn't have to listen because we're South Carolina, but we did. So they said, okay, let's go ahead and look at redistricting. And what opened the door to this redistricting was the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court had a ruling. And in the Supreme Court's ruling, they said that the maps in another state were racially gerrymandered, and basically opened up the door for South Carolina to be able to make this change. And unfortunately, that's exactly what South Carolina headed down the path to do. All right, so let me bring you to what's going on in South Carolina. So now, the bill came to. Oh wait, let me talk about the map, right? So every time we have a census, there's this process of redistricting because there's more people. The number of congressmen that you have to represent you in DC is based on the number of people you have. So you can lose seats and you can gain seats, right? So so what happened um in South Carolina was they made this call and they said, let's redo the map. Now, every time that happens, it's like a year-long process because South Carolina people, people who work for the Senate and the House, they'll work on drawing maps. And these people do cartography. They're really smart. They understand numbers and data and they draw all of these maps, right? Well, what happened in this case was somebody from that Trump hired, wasn't somebody from South Carolina. They and he testified at the House hearing, and I watched his testimony. He drew the map, and he drew this map based on one and one thing only, and that was to send 7 Republicans to DC and to get rid of Jim Clyburn. So the map doesn't make a whole lot of sense, not at all. And the testimonies, people talked about different things, such as the on District 1, which is now, well, District 7, sorry. We're part of CD7, Congressional District 7. So that would be our 8 counties in the PD, which includes Horry County and Georgetown. That's changing. They are putting Horry County, Georgetown, and part of Charleston in Congressional District 7. So what's that mean? Now they would have one senator, one congressman who would be, who would be representing that whole coastal area. And then they took us, Marion County, and they moved us to Congressional District 6, which was Jim Clyburn's district. So you would think, oh, that's great. Jim Clyburn, we love him. He could be our new congressman, except for they cut his house out. So he no longer lives in that district. So the district he's been running in is completely different. Now legally he can still run. I found out from doing some research is that to run for Congress, you only have to live in the state. You don't have to live in the district. It's just not typically how it is, right? People live in the district that they serve, and they serve that district. So, so that kind of took us to that, right? Now, here's all the issues. And then I do have to go because folks are waiting. We got to pull off. So there's all these issues. And so some of the issues are this, is that the election has already started. People, they've already sent out 11,000 ballots overseas. No, 11,000 ballots, period, not just overseas. 11,000 ballots have already been sent out. 2,500 ballots have already come back. So those votes that have already come back or are in progress would be invalidated because then also the cost over $6 million. That's just at the state level. Okay. Last 10 days ago, he said it was $2 million. Yesterday, the top guy in the election commission is now saying that $6 million. And that does not include what all the counties have to pay. There was a guy that came up from Columbia and basically said it was nearly impossible to get it done. He needs 5 weeks, right? So it's all kinds of mess, right? It's all kinds of mess, but yet still it's being jammed through. And I gotta go. Everybody's here. Um, I want to have more of a conversation about redistricting. Drop your comments, drop your questions, and then we're going to continue this conversation. But for right now, it's about our voices being heard. Me and a whole bunch of folks, we're going up to Columbia. We're going to participate in a rally, and our voices will be heard. Love you guys.